guys, Constance here. Welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So I am here in the homestead kitchen. I'm getting ready to, I'm getting dinner going. And tonight I am making a super simple dish, and I figured I would bring you into the kitchen while I make it. This is basically a simplified version of what is already a really easy recipe that I have on my website. And it is for a chicken Parmesan pasta dish. I will put a link down below for the original recipe of this, but you'll see that this is so incredibly easy that you barely need a recipe for it. So currently I have a pot of water over there beginning to heat up for the pasta. I'm going to cook a pound of, it's called fusilli, but it's like a rotini kind of pasta, just kind of a spiral. You could use this, you could make this with bow tie pasta or any kind of simple little like bite-sized type of pasta. Honestly, any one of them would work. And I've got a skillet here with a little bit of coconut oil. I'll start heating that up, and then I've got just over a pound of some chicken breast that are diced up or cubed up, like 1-inch pieces. And I'm going to get this heated up. I'm going to toss in the chicken, give it a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I will let it cook until the chicken is nice and opaque. Alright, so I've got about a tablespoon or so of oil here in my skillet that is nice and hot. So now I'm just going to add in a little over a pound of cubed chicken. This is breast meat, but you can make this with thighs as well. We'll add in a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we'll just let this cook for a few minutes, stirring it every little bit until the chicken is all opaque. Alright, my chicken is all white and opaque looking. So now I'm going to add in 1 jar, a 28-ounce jar of marinara sauce. And this can just be your favorite marinara, whatever kind you like best. Get every little bit of that out. And I'm going to add in a little extra garlic, just because we like garlic. About 2 or 3 cloves right there. And I'm just going to stir this all together, and then I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to let this simmer about 15 minutes or so just to finish cooking that chicken the rest of the way through. And while this is simmering, I'm going to cook my pasta over here because my water is just about ready. And so they should be finishing up right about the same time. So, got some dishes over here I need to get washed. So earlier today I went and did the last of my grocery shopping for Thanksgiving, because it is next week already. That almost seems impossible, but it is nonetheless. So I went and got pretty much everything else I needed. I've already got my turkey thawing out, because I have to make sure that my turkey is thawed out a little bit prior to Thanksgiving, because I brine my turkey. I have a recipe on my website for how I make the brine and how I do all that, as well as how I cook my turkey. I do not stuff my turkey. I used to, but I have discovered that if you don't stuff it, it's going to get done a lot faster. And so now I just take my stuffing and I make it as dressing. And it works out so much better. The turkey doesn't get dried out because it's not, you know, roasting forever and a day. And it just turns out beautifully every single time. And so ever since I started doing it that way, it is the only way I make a turkey. Ooh. Now I'm sure there'll be a couple more last minute items I might need to go get, but I've got pretty much everything that I'll need. You know, just might need some more milk or something like that once the date arrives. So my routine for Thanksgiving generally is I will, of course, I brine the turkey 24 to 48 hours prior to Thanksgiving. The day before Thanksgiving is actually my big cooking day. I do way more the day before Thanksgiving than I actually do on Thanksgiving. Usually around Tuesday, I'll make the cranberry sauce because you can make that in advance. But on Wednesday, that is when I make all of my pies. That is when I have actually started doing my casseroles as well, including the dressing. I have found that, because you know casseroles are always better the second day anyways, so I have started making all of my casseroles the day prior, and then when the turkey comes out of the oven and it's resting, because you know the turkey is going to stay screaming hot for a long time because it's so big, while it's sitting there resting, I go ahead and I stick my casseroles into the oven just to heat them back up. And then we eat our dinner. And so really for me, Thanksgiving is really just cooking the turkey, and then any last minute things that I need to do. Oh, and I bake rolls. I make homemade rolls the day before Thanksgiving. So that's another thing I do. I'm telling you, Wednesday is my big day for cooking. I will be in here all day, marathon. I mean, I suppose I could make my rolls in advance and freeze them, but I don't know. I would just rather do it the day before and have them fresh. And so that is part of my routine for that. Now, if you go to my website, which is linked underneath all of my videos, depending on whether you are on a computer or if you are on mobile, if you are on a computer, you'll see it up at the top. If you are on mobile, you'll see it down in the footer at the bottom of the page. But on every page, I have a category drop-down list. And that category list will take you, it's kind of a shortcut to all the different collections of recipes on my website. And I actually have one that is called, I believe it's Thanksgiving and Holidays. And under that list, you will find everything that I would consider a Thanksgiving recipe, whether it's corn casserole, sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, cheesy hash brown casserole, which is my version of the Cracker Barrel one, and I think mine is better. I'm just going to say that. Pies, I've got all of those things. Oh, and even whipped cream, homemade whipped cream that doesn't fall. It's fall-proof whipped cream. But you can find all of those recipes there. Oh, and including some things that you could do with leftovers on Thanksgiving. So you can find that category and many others under that drop-down list. If you are watching this on YouTube or on Rumble, I will put a link to that category directly in the information down below. So we've got about 2 minutes left on the pasta. And finish up these dishes here. Alright, so my pasta is done cooking. It's over there in the colander in the sink. And now I'm adding about 2/3 of a cup of shredded Parmesan into my skillet here in the sauce with the chicken. We're just going to let that melt all into the sauce. So I'm going to add in my pasta. I'm going to grab my spoonula because this will just make it easier to stir this together. And so now I'm just going to carefully mix this pasta into the sauce because this is a super full skillet here. Alright, so that's nice and combined. And so now I'm just going to grab a little bit more Parmesan. Sprinkle it over the top. And then I'm going to add in some shredded mozzarella over the top as well. And this is about a cup or so of mozzarella. So now my stove eye is still on. I've got it on low, and I'm just going to put my lid back on the skillet, and I'm just going to let it sit here until it's all melted together. Alright, so as you can see, that is a super easy recipe. It does not take very long at all to make. I think the most effort that goes into it really is just cubing up the chicken, which is nothing. And like I said, this is a simplified version of a recipe that I already have on my website. That one, you take diced tomatoes, the canned diced tomatoes, you puree it together in a food processor with herbs and garlic and all of that, and so this just kind of takes that easy recipe and makes it even easier. So because this recipe is so much different than the one that I have on my website currently, I will put the ingredients and everything for this underneath this video, and so if you want to be able to reference back to that, you'll be able to. So that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here again for an easy recipe in the kitchen. My name is Constance at A Good Life Farm, and I'll talk to y'all next time.